In 1999, Nigeria transitioned from military to civilian rule. This was due to a bargain struck by an elite cabal over 1998 and 1999, following the death of the brutal dictator Sani Abacha. One of the main points was that the president would alternate every 8 years between the South and the North. A corollary added was that if the presidential nominee was Christian, then the vice presidential nominee would be Muslim and vice versa. This was something of an unofficial law, as it wasn't actually a legitimate rule. This principle of power alternation rather than power sharing is called zoning or power shift. Okay, so the whole point of that mini history lesson was just to shed some light on the pivotal role played by religion and tribe in Nigerian politics in general, dating back to the beginning of democracy in 1999, or dare I say the time of MKO Abiola in 1993. But what really makes this election different? What's the hype around it? Why am I even speaking about it? Well, my guess would be the rise of the underdog. For as long as anybody can remember, Nigeria has been held in the chokehold of two powerful political parties, APC and PDP. But then this year, something weird happened. We see a candidate from the Labour Party, Peter Obi, taking Nigeria by storm. Now, I'm sure several factors contributed to his rise to, general adoration. But I would say that it was because he was backed by the underestimated and yet powerful voice of Nigerian youth. I personally think that it had less to do with the candidate in himself and more to do with the change that it promised. We have the country being filled by APC, the country had been filled by PDP, and suddenly we have this candidate that basks in simplicity, that has the hope for a different Nigeria that's not even in any of these major political parties, and it's from the Labour Party and is giving them a run for their money. It's interesting, it's hopeful. And that's what the youth desire. That's what they cling onto, and that's what keeps them strong, is hope. And this year, over 93 million Nigerians registered to vote, and over 40% of these Nigerians were under 34. So it's safe to say that the youth were way more involved in this election. They used their voices, they projected their thoughts, they wanted to play an active role in deciding who exactly took control of the country, because they were able to realize that it was going to affect them. It's going to affect us, but I'm not here to talk about any of the candidates or to talk about their campaign, but I'm just here to talk about democracy in Nigeria, specifically in this recent election. And my main argument right now is that regardless of how revolutionary this all seemed, tribe was still a very prominent, significant factor in this whole election. Okay, so fun fact, since 1999, no Igbo man has ever won an election in Nigeria. And yeah, that has to be at least a little bit messed up, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with that little illegitimate, unofficial law that we looked at in a little history lesson at the beginning of the video. The taking turns, the power shift, what was it called again? Okay. But yeah, obviously we had Peter Obi in the lead, and everybody saw this as an opportunity for change, but also change in the perspective of an Igbo man finally coming into power, which it is time for an Igbo man to be president. And I guess this can be justifiable. However, it is a bit laughable how significant tribe really is when deciding who leads the country. Because at the end of the day, you are not controlling just your tribe. You are not benefiting just your tribe. You're not the president of the Igbos. You're not the president of the Yorubas. You are the president of Nigeria. And I believe that until we are able to get to the point where we can see ourselves as one people, we will continue to have these violent elections, looking at the mass destruction that was caused, understanding that we are one, and we don't need just one person advocating for our people, because we are our people. I think that's the stage that we need to get at, to finally judge these candidates based on their capabilities and their abilities to actually do their job properly, regardless of where they come from. Now, this isn't me saying that tribe is the only thing that's making these elections really messy, or that these elections were won through reliable or fair means, because I'm not saying any of that, but I am saying that it plays such a significant role, and I personally believe that it should not have that much power in deciding who gets to rule our country. I believe that it's so fascinating, so interesting how much was actually done, or how much was achieved by the youth, Nigerian youth, using their voices to get what they want and fighting to get what they wanted. And even though, spoiler alert, Peter Obi didn't win, it was still very beautiful and inspirational to watch, you know. And I have heard that one thing about Nigerian youth is that now they demand change, but I do hope that we can get to the point where we become the change that we want, because obviously we are not being heard by the people in positions of power in the older generation. And as is commonly said, if you want something done right, do it yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.